Yo, it's your boy Shaggoth coming at you live from Midland at the Flying Saucer, riding my chocolate bows.
I hate everything about this.
I don't. Yeah, no.
And my boy Slim Cloud Stretch with his big.
I like how you got the cloud part though.
I gotta. Well, otherwise, if I say Slim Stretch, you know what the fuck I'm talking about?
No.
Dalsim.
You could have said Claude.
Dalsim. Yeah, Claude. Fucking Jean-Claude. Big sword. Bam.
Jean-Claude Van Strife.
I hate this.
It's awful.
Shaggoth brings the worst out of me. What's going on, guys, and welcome to episode 60 of the Tasty Cast, our weekly podcast where we talk about things, we react to things, we do a bunch of random shit. My name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
I'm Chris.
And a quick reminder, you can play Mad Max and Trackmania Turbo, both offer free on PlayStation Plus, and come back at the end of this month for Plus Club, where we talk about our opinions of those games. Let us know yours. And our game of the month is Persona 5. You can play that, or you can watch the anime on Crunchyroll, and you can come back at the end of this month and hang out for Game of the Month.
Not sponsored.
The game, that'd be cool if we were though. Talk about it with us, and we'll let you know what we thought of those games as well. We'll even grade them so you know how much we loved it or fucking hated them. Because I have hated a couple games before. It's very rare.
It happens.
And yeah, we have a Discord. Make sure to go down in the description box, click that, and come talk to us whenever the fuck you want. We're on there all the time. And yeah. So with every Taste Cast, we typically talk about what we've been playing. So let's do that. My list is really fucking small.
Mine too.
I've been playing Ni no Kuni 2.
I mean, have you been playing it or been just having it turned on?
Well, I've been playing it because typically I'll have it on if I'm doing something else. Okay. So that's when it's passively going, and I got like fucking right. I think right now I have like $8 million, $9 million or whatever, and I spend that real quick, and then I get right back real fast. But then I've actually been playing because I need people in my kingdom to get to the last level of it, the 4th level of the kingdom. If you can go beyond that, fucking let me know in the comments, but I have no idea. Need like 100 people. I only have like 79. So I'm trying to get more people so I can get that last fucking chunk. But otherwise, my kingdom's pretty much built. I got people. I got at least one person in each building. Got most of my upgrades. Oh, there's a lot of stuff to the game. Getting close to 100 hours. So, yeah, I've been playing that quite a bit. It's pretty much all I've been playing. I've played a little bit of Trackmania Turbo, a litlittle bit of Mad Max, not a whole lot of Mad Max. Persona 5, I really, really just need to touch it. Like, I just, I'm going to turn it on and press start at the title screen and be like, well, I played it. I'm going to grade it now like a piece of shit. That's not going to happen. I played Call of Duty World War II. I'm ready to trade that in. I don't trade games in. I mean, I have fucking Battleborn to prove that.
Yeah, mine's still on shelf too, and at this point, you probably get like 5 cents for it.
So. That's why I haven't traded it in. Like when I saw how bad it did, like a week later, I'm like, oh no, I can't even get money for this anymore. And they're like, we're gonna make it work. I'm like, I can't get money for the game I just bought from you. Well, fucking, you're not making anything work. So, yeah, Ni no Kuni 2 though. Really need to beat it. I'm on the 9th chapter, which is the last chapter for anybody who doesn't know, or if that's a spoiler, I apologize. I mean, it's not that big a deal. No info there. But I really want to beat it because God of War is out. So if you guys are playing that, don't fucking spoil the final boss on YouTube, you dickhead. And yeah. What have you guys been playing?
I've been playing the game of trying to get some sleep because I have a noisy new neighbor.
He's got a buddy. A buddy doesn't like shinies.
Yeah. So the only game I really have dabbled in.
Let him know about the.
There's a fucking woodpecker outside my bedroom window every morning. So
have you named him?
Fuck no. Doesn't deserve a name.
His name's Dickhead. He uploads videos of the last boss of God of War on YouTube right when the game releases.
If you want to see what kind it is called a red-breasted sapsucker. You can Google that and see what they look like.
Chevy just doxed us. My own brother.
How is that doxing?
They're gonna fucking Wikipedia.
How many times have we said we live in Washington?
And we straight up said where we are a lot of times in earlier episodes. You could go back and watch those if you're a psychopath. I'm just insulting everybody. No one's safe. Yeah, they're gonna look up the tree sapper thing and be like, "Aha! They're on this street.
They're in the Northwest.
It's the only place these fuckers live."
Anyways, so yeah,
If you come here to get us, get him first.
Yeah, get the woodpecker.
Look for the fucking tinfoil.
Even though they're a protected species, and you're not allowed to do anything.
Oh, fuck, I'll beat his ass. I don't give a shit. Protect fucking my right to defend myself from woodpeckers.
So I took a risk and actually stayed up the other night though to play the new event for Monster Hunter, and they fight the Golden Queen Jagras.
Full transparency, I would have played this as well, but I was editing, so I will do that soon. Yeah. And I want to stream it this weekend, sometime between God of War and whatever the hell I'm doing with my life.
I'm gonna have a really hard time because I still haven't even. I bought Ni no Kuni and I haven't played it. I'm going to buy. Actually, as of you guys seeing this, I own God of War. I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it because I need to get the plus games played. I need to play more of the game of the month, and this Monster Hunter event is limited time. So,
oh shit, I forgot about that part.
Yeah,
till May 3rd.
That's fucked.
Yeah, so got to get that grind, get them sweet random Diablo-esque loot.
That's a dick move.
It is a dick move.
I'm gonna try and straight up beat fucking God of War this weekend though. I'm gonna try and stream the whole fucking thing.
Jesus.
So you're stream Monster Hunter and God of War?
Yeah, I got two PS4s. I got two PS4s.
Better buy more coffee.
I don't need more coffee. I've been having fucking heart palpitations and all sorts of weird shit.
Yeah. Anyways, the boss whose name I can't remember, so Queen Jagras is all I'm gonna call it. It's kind of
Cool.
pretty positive, same skeleton. But really cool. I really like how it has multiple phases. I really like the way they handled the multiplayer for it not being true 16 player. It still is a neat system, I think.
Koltaroth.
Yeah, Queen Jagras. I said that.
I just remembered it. Sorry, I'm listening.
And also, you don't need to have the 16 people. It just helps you get through it faster. We 3-manned it, so.
Yeah, there's people, or the video we watched said you could do it by yourself. So.
People are soloing it. I've seen people on Twitter with their screenshots and whatnot. It's a cool event. I hope they do more stuff like this, though I would prefer some permanent monsters. This is still neat. I know, I think someone in the Discord actually said they'd like to see them bring more interesting monsters to the game as well, just because they had a lot in previous iterations of Monster Hunter. And was it Psycho Scream?
Psycho Scream said some stuff in the Discord. He does that sometimes. Hi, Psycho. But somebody also in the video said that as well.
It might have been the video.
So it might have been the video. I don't want to take credit from anybody though. Whoever said it. Yeah, he said it.
But anyways, and I agree with that. Though I do think they're handling the update process to this game really well. Even every once in a while, you just get something like a Wiggler head or the Kulu head or the what is it? Was it sunglasses?
Yeah, there's sunglasses.
Yeah, it's neat. There's always content coming out for the game. Oh, they said they wanted to see more variety in weapons. That's what they said.
Yes.
Not monsters.
Yeah.
Because these are just reskinned existing weapons with random stats, and they're still cool. I really like the way they managed to do the gold overlay on a lot of them, even though most of the long swords, it's just the sheath, which is a bummer. But
Oh, it's kind of lame.
yeah.
I thought the glaive looked cool.
They get more gold depending on the rarity of the weapons. The more rare the weapon is, the more gold the weapon is.
Oh, well, I only got one.
Yes, that's me.
If you join the Discord, you get to see gifts like this. Every time I go on the Monster Hunter part of the Discord, fucking, I just see that face every single time. I'm like, oh god.
Just gotta bury it in comments.
Poor innocent Elijah.
But yeah, that's all I've played. I'm going to try to do better before the next Tasty Cast, because this is 2 in a row where I've only played Monster Hunter. Yeah,
dude, what the fuck? This month's fucked up. It's not even like games are just being constantly released. I'm just like busy with Cooney.
Busy with Monster Hunter spring event, and now this.
Yeah.
They're killing me.
Yeah.
What about you, Chris? What have you been playing?
I have been playing a lot of Warframe, and no changes there and things. I've been playing a lot of Monster Hunter the last 2 days because of the event. I have 3 pages of gold weapons now.
Jesus.
And some of them are really, really good, and some of them are not so good.
I think it was Arcs that had was somebody had a thing on Twitter saying that like the new weapons were like really fucking good and the stats were crazy.
If you're lucky.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw
they were like making a big deal about
somebody on Twitter, and I can't remember what the weapon was, but it had I think it was like 750 lightning damage.
Damn.
So, yeah, that's
what
fucking
the fuck?
high.
What are they curing?
Pretty much. But I mean, I don't think me and Chris had that kind of luck. I think
got that hammer that was really cool.
Yeah. The only thing I got that was cool is I got a heavy bow gun that can use like almost every ammo type.
Yeah, you have the support bow gun that does like all. It's like the normal version is just kind of like meh, and this one uses like level 3 of almost everything.
Yeah. Too bad I don't like using that weapon.
Wait, so and I haven't played this yet, but I understand a little bit. But like, so when do you pick what weapon you start crafting, or is it
No,
you get random
it's
shit?
random loot.
It's a drop.
That's
so like
cool.
Like in the older ones when you like used to mine and find like ancient relics that
Yeah,
had to
yeah.
be identified. It's the same concept.
Yeah,
Okay.
So yeah, at least in our case, so that you get a research level, you build it up or whatever, and when you finally break the horns off the boss, which is considered a win, you can actually collect loot, and then at that point, anything you've picked up, including the relic weapons and whatnot, you get identified, and then you get either a rarity 6, 7, or 8 reskin of any. At least that I've noticed, because one of that bow gun was a rarity 8, but it was skinned after the rarity 4 version of the gun or something like that.
Yeah.
But obviously it's gold, and then all the stats are random, and even the element can be different sometimes. Like his hammer is supposed to be a water hammer, I think, and he got a paralysis version of it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so it's a neat system, and I hope they bring it back often, because this is the kind of thing. I think I can say for all of us is what becomes addictive for these kind of games is that random loot generation.
Dude, any game, like the game could be subpar, and if it has like good loot, I'm just like,
Yeah, so
I can't stop playing this.
This event has loot, so
Tasty loot.
some of it, most of mine's been pretty bitter.
Gross. Stop tasting it.
Well, I mean, you only beat it like what, twice the other night?
Once.
Once or twice? Once.
Yeah.
I beat it like 3 more times today.
How long does it take to do?
The fight
Depends
itself's
on how
not
many people
that
are
long.
doing it at the same time, because you cumulatively put damage into the monster, and the more you guys all do, the more rewards you get at the end, because everything like everybody else does, if like someone else is on the hunt and they break the tail piece, those points accrue to like a group total of points, and then at the end when you kill it, what that total is that you get better rewards the higher the total is.
Yeah, because in that video we watched, he was saying that that this doesn't scale down.
No.
For like 1 or 2 or 3 people, and then also
But it gets easier the more you do it.
okay, but how long did it take you guys to do? Because obviously 50 minutes is the max.
4 runs?
I think 4 runs was the longest it took us to do. I think we did one was 3, but
And it was running away before the 30-minute mark most of the time.
about 25 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So maybe an hour? Maybe a little more?
Yeah, I mean, in that game, sounds pretty standard doing unless you're just, fighting shit you're killing in like 10, 15 minutes, but that's not really a
also when you're
challenge.
breaking the armor off, there's chances of chunks of it hitting the ground, and you can carve that too.
Oh, cool.
So, sometimes.
So many drops. That thing drops so much pieces of itself everywhere. They're just littered everywhere.
Tired of the gold cats, though.
Yes.
Hey, I'm trying to do something. Have it smack you constantly while you're trying to like pick up stuff or carve stuff.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do they have the fucking things like in the older ones?
No, they're not the hand ones.
Oh.
No.
God, I fucking hated those back in the day in the original
stealing
Monster Hunter.
ones?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't seen those motherfuckers in a long time, but like I remember in the original Monster Hunter, just like fucking crawling under a
The
log,
sticky paws.
coming up, and they just be over there like digging in the ground. They looking back, meow, fuck, just take my shit. I'm like, oh my god, I fucking hate you.
Oh.
Ugh. What else you been playing, Chris?
I played a big chunk of Mad Max.
Define big chunk.
I guess a big chunk for me, so a couple hours.
That's
One
a
game.
fucking big chunk for me too.
And then I actually played some more Bloodborne.
Oh,
Nice.
Unfortunately, since my original PlayStation kind of fried and I got a replacement one, the save data I have saved on the cloud is behind by 2 bosses, so I have to go back and beat them again.
You actually weren't there for that Plus Club.
Oh no, was I?
I don't think you were. So do you want to real quick give like a real fast what you think of it and grade?
It's fun and challenging.
Mhm.
Grade, I would give it A minus, because although it is fun and challenging, there are some times where it just gets very monotonous, and the direction of where I'm supposed to go is confusing sometimes.
You gave it an A- with those negatives though, so
I will say that's a very generous A minus, but I think that's what
still
me.
addicting and fun overall.
Yeah, no, for
I think
sure.
I said A-.
I think we both did because
you?
I fucking for sure gave it either an A or an A minus.
I thought you gave it an A for some reason.
I gave something high because like I actually beat it and I was just like obviously like everybody I love any of the Souls games and I include Bloodborne in that, but I love the whole Lovecraftian inspired world and all the like the vials and fucking tubes and just kind of like that whole like not steampunk but it's very Lovecraft like in every sense and even like the monsters are based off of his writing and all that shit. So yeah, I agree with you. Like trying to find your way around the game. Like there's a lot of like intricacies of like up and down, like going up these stairs and then going this hallway and like in like Dark Souls, it seems more like vast in the distance you're going. Whereas in this, it's like very windy in like one specific area and does get kind of confusing. So I get where you're coming from, but. We're gonna have to go back, but I'm pretty sure we both gave that A minus as well.
Yeah.
Which I mean is fucking high, which I'm still very very comfortable and confident in that.
Well, it's funny too because I think you had also said that when we get to the end of the year and we do our best game for PlayStation, a month of PlayStation Plus, that's going to be a hard month to beat.
I'm calling it. I don't know what's coming out the rest of this year, but I mean that motherfucker is gonna be top 2. At the very least.
Yeah.
I think beating what was that Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank? Mm-hmm. Yeah, what the fuck's gonna beat that month?
I don't know. It's a tough one.
Just Cause 3?
Worms.
And Worms? Yeah.
I love Worms.
It could be a real barn burner, dude. Something's gonna be surprising again. I think that's gonna be a real hard one to beat.
Yeah.
Because I can't think of anything else this month or this year that. I mean, we're only 4 months in, but like, still, like, I don't. That's a really good month because I liked both those games quite a bit. What was the other one? Was it Knack? Was that
Knack
this
and
year's
Rhyme.
my fucking I hated game?
Yeah.
Because I know last year had like 2 months where I was like, I felt like they were spitting in my face, and then when I was like, dude, why'd you spit in my face? They're like, oh, hold on a second, start pissing in my face. I'm like, I don't know how you want me to react to this, so I'm just gonna bitch at the very least. Yeah, Knack and Rhyme was fucking.
Well, since you graded Bloodborne, why don't you go ahead and grade Ratchet and Clank as well?
Oh yeah. And impression, briefly.
I beat it relatively quickly. I sat down. I think I beat it in a day. And it's. I'm gonna give that one an A minus as well. It's a really solid.
God damn.
Platformer. It was addictive enough that I wanted to beat it in one go. And some of the weapons are zany and fun and interesting. I really like the sheep gun, just turning everybody into sheep. And it's friendly enough for kids, I think, that they can play it and enjoy it, as well as complicated enough for adults to enjoy it as well. So a solid A minus.
I'm probably gonna butcher this, but What do you think of Mr. Zircon?
Fuck's that?
Is that not his name?
I didn't know
That
any of
sounds
their names.
familiar. Mr. Zircon. Who was that?
Mr. Zircon's here to kill.
Oh yeah, that's my favorite character in the whole game. That's my favorite gun in the whole
that's-
game. That's my favorite everything in the whole game. That
I-
game
I-
should be
I-
Mr. Zircon and Ratchet and Clank are with him. I'd get into like situations where I'd start shooting and they'd start hitting me, and I'd get like really scared and feel alone. And I'd go curl up in a ball, and I'd be like, "Zircon, take care of this." And he's like, "All right," and he's fucking started murdering everybody. That guy's my hero.
Yeah. He was dope. But then his kid showing up later.
What?
Is there-
If you upgrade him enough, he gets Zircon Jr. to fight with him.
Apparently, I didn't get that far on with him.
Yeah, me neither.
Oh, his kid has little phrases too.
I upgraded the fuck out of him too. Apparently, I just missed that one
I think
baby
I put
Zircon.
most of my upgrades into the pulse ball you throw on the ground.
I went through a lot of that game though, using the first 3 weapons. And then eventually, because I started that game and I was like, this is all right. I'm not going to really give a fuck about anything in my life right now. And then fucking later I was like, I should probably check out these weapons. And then I started.
That's what the series is known for.
I know.
Yeah.
But like a lot of them were like, I was like, what? How can you even? It's like, disco gun, wherever the hell. And I'm just like,
Oh, that's the best one.
I was like, what would you even use that for? And then fucking I shot it and they're like not attacking me anymore. I was like, okay. And I shoot the fucking the Destroyer of Worlds fucking ball pulsing thing.
And with upgrades, it shoots a laser
That
out at the closest target too.
Weird sex toys. Shoot that thing down there, just kill everything in sight. They all be dancing and dying. I was like, this game's fucked.
I love that gun.
The best thing about that game is that the guns all work on everything. Like the
Yeah.
disco orb works on bosses. If you shoot them, they'll start dancing.
Oh,
It's
that
crazy.
lava
All their own
fucker.
dances.
That lava fucker. I used it constantly on him because I was just like, get away from me. And then he started doing a stupid dance.
He didn't just run and have Mr. Zircon take care of it.
No, I was zirconing with the disco and the pulsing ball at the same time.
Also, love the pixelator. The effect is really good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually really
That's
impressed with
really
that
good
part.
one.
Or that weapon. So you gave it an A minus?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I'm pretty sure I gave it a B somewhere. B
think
minus,
you
B,
did, yeah.
B plus area. Because, yeah, my only complaint about it was I was very confused about the
Humor.
perceived humor and who it was for. Because I couldn't understand it for kids or adults or anyone in between. I was like, and even when I was doing the stream, I think it was like Almixai and a couple of people were like, maybe the humor just doesn't translate to 2018 now or something. I was like, maybe, but I can watch like Rocco's Modern Life and be like, haha, I get it.
Yeah.
That game
that's
I was-
different. That show is different.
Well, I'll name off a bunch of shows from the 90s if you want. I'm just saying I can go back and watch some of that stuff and be like, haha, because I was there for that. But yeah, I was like, I don't know. I didn't have a problem with the story. I didn't find myself like, I was just following it. Like, okay, I get it. I get where it's going. Like, but everything people said, I'm like, okay, let's go. Let me shoot things. I'm gonna go kill things. Play anything else?
Other than Bloodborne, no.
All right.
That was the end of my list.
All right. So we're gonna do something we used to do more often with loot chest, where we
yeah.
would talk about topics, stuff like that. Something that we still kind of do a little bit, but I
R.I.P.
would like to do more of, because that was actually one of my favorite things we did in our earlier shows was just talk about shit. So 2 things I want to talk about. One thing is battle royale modes, because they're very popular. In fact, before shooting, we talked about that I found out that 1 out of 3 PC game our players plays battle royale games, which is a lot of people. And then we were like talking about if we play them, and I'm the 1 out of us 3 who plays it. So I was like, that's actually kind of funny. The reason I want to talk about this, though, is obviously they're really fucking big. Fortnite and PUBG are both fucking huge. H1Z1 is being talked about again recently. I keep seeing that name pop up. Radical Heights came out. People are actually really enjoying it. I saw a poll recently that was like, what's your favorite battle royale game? And people were like, fucking Radical Heights is the best. Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that game just came out.
It's not even technically out.
I know that game's unfinished as fuck. I already talked about that, and the game is actually pretty fun if you're into that kind of game. And you better be into that kind of game because soon enough, all of your games are going to be fucking battle royale games. Because it has been rumored that not only is Call of Duty Black Ops 4 going to have a battle royale mode, but so is Battlefield 5. There is an insider at DICE who apparently has leaked that they have a prototype of a Battle Royale game mode in Battlefield. So I want to talk about that. But real quick, before we get into that, I also heard that, and this is kind of bordering on fucking Taste Tuesday a bit, but whatever. That Black Ops 4 might not have a single player campaign. So real fast, what do you guys think about that? Because normally what you get on the disc with Call of Duty is the single player campaign, which is about 6 hours. Black Ops 3 actually had like a 4-player cooperative campaign, which I thought was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Then you normally get the multiplayer, and then you normally get some kind of variant of a defense mode, whether it's zombies or you're just shooting other soldiers or you're shooting aliens. Those are typically the 3 things you get on there. Treyarch likes to add some extra stuff, which is always cool. So without that, that's a huge chunk of the game missing. So what do we think about that?
I think if that's the case, I have no reason to buy it.
Yeah.
The only reason I bought Black Ops 3 was because of the co-op campaign. I don't play the multiplayer in Call of Duty. So, I mean, obviously, I'm probably not the right demographic because most people play Call of Duty are playing to kill each other.
Let's fucking kill each other.
All right.
I'm down. That sounds fun.
But, no, it's a bummer. But, you know, they are going for what they believe is going to sell a game. So, and with the obvious popularity of the Battle Royale genre, it makes sense that Activision and EA want a piece of that pie. So.
Well, yeah, you have 2 games that are arguably the biggest games on the fucking planet right now, which are both Battle Royale games that are not owned by any of the big 3 companies. I mean, Epic owns one of them. They're big enough, but they're not Activision. They're not fucking EA.
They might be after getting that fucking mobile money.
Yeah. Well, they made
Jesus.
$25 million in the first month that the mobile game came out. They're making $2 million a day or some shit in the first the first week, which is fucking stupid. So it only makes sense that the other person who makes the biggest fucking shooter out there, Call of Duty, would look at that and go, maybe we should adapt or do something similar to that to get a piece of that as well. Because the longer you kind of sit back and let somebody else kind of build up their fucking empire, they could come for you soon. So I mean, like, and then Battlefield has to be competitive with that because Battlefield has always been competitive with Call of Duty. If it sits back while Call of Duty jumps fucking ship, then they're gonna get fucked. What are your thoughts, Chris?
It's unfortunate, I think, that they're losing the single player campaign mode because the little that I've played those games, that's usually what I play. And like you said, business wise, it makes sense because battle royale modes are so popular right now that they would make the decision to cut out, the department for making a single player campaign and focus more on doing the multiplayer aspects of the game. But personally, it always just feels like half of a game when you're just only online mode stuff. Like, what happens when all the servers go down? That game is useless. Whereas if the game had, like a single player campaign, you could still technically play it.
I still go back and play Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 1 to play the single player. So, I mean, that's a good point. And it's a really good point to talk about servers going down because once it's down, I mean, you're waiting for a fucking HD remaster that's going to get sold for $40, 8 years later. Or just not, you're having a piece of dead software, essentially. So as like the dude who has played like every Call of Duty and is a big fan of like shooters in general, this actually kind of worries me. I feel like they obviously have the information. If this is true, obviously this is rumor. It's rumor mill stuff with the campaign. It makes sense for them to get rid of it because I guarantee if you look at the numbers of who's playing what aspect of that game, the lowest number on there is the campaign. And that takes resources. It takes time. It takes effort to write a story, make that story work in a campaign, blah, 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 make all the features, stuff like that. Mocapping, all that shit. And they're very cinematic games, so it makes sense. That's a big process. And if they're not seeing enough people going to the campaign, because a lot of people, and they have been since like Modern Warfare 2, a lot of people will buy Call of Duty and not play the single player. They'll go straight to the multiplayer as soon as they bring it home. Josh has done it a couple times. It's hard for me to do that. I typically like to go home and start playing the single player a little bit, and then I'll play the multiplayer. But the last couple, I've went straight to the multiplayer. So I think they see that, obviously, with their statistics. But it still bothers me, because especially with Treyarch doing it, because I think they finally did what no other Call of Duty's done in a while for me, and they made a single player I wanted to play with Black Ops 3. I didn't care about the single player in Black Ops or Black Ops 2 at all. I thought the single player campaigns in Call of Duty were pretty much dead, but they made it interesting again with 3, having that co-op, having a progression system and leveling system and skills and stuff like that. I was like, dude, fucking...
And a decent story.
In a decent story. It's not even bad. I mean, it was way better. They disconnected it from the first 2, and that was perfect. And I was actually like, let's get another, like, cyberpunk-esque fucking Call of Duty story. I mean, that was really neat. There's parts where you're going into people's heads and shit. And it's really fucking cool. So, like, to see them do that and go like, oh man, I'd really like to do something like that again, and them going like, well, you know, people aren't really playing it that much. I get where they're coming from. I can't blame them, and I will still buy the game 100%. But I feel like it's almost, I feel like they should have like tested the waters and released a Call of Duty, especially get Infinity Ward and their dumbasses to release the one without the campaign and see what the fuck people think with that one. Don't take like what now is the flagship fucking Call of Duty, which, you know, is any Call of Duty made by Treyarch, and gamble like that. I'm sure they've done like in-house like tests to see what people think of that idea and shit like that. They wouldn't do it otherwise, but like that really would bum me out. But the thing is if they do go forward with not having the campaign, they better be putting all that work that would have went into that into the multiplayer, the battle royale mode, if that's in it, and whatever else is going to be there. That needs to be translated over, because these guys, with that extra year when they turned it into that three company cycle, and they got that extra year to work on the game, Black Ops 3 fucking showed it.
Yeah.
They really did not waste that. They added a shitload of content to the game that the game didn't even need. And I was like, whoa, this is here. Like, that's awesome. Like that weird alternate campaign that has to do with zombies. That there was no reason for that, but I still was like, that's kind of cool. So yeah, without having that chunk of game you have to work on, it needs to translate over. I need to see the multiplayer bigger and fucking better than it's ever been in this case. I'll still buy regardless, because I'm that guy. They haven't failed me yet. Fucking Infinity Ward though, they can go fuck themselves. That's one out of 3 Call of Duties fucking sucks. That's the statistic. Yeah. So yeah, and with the battle royale thing, as long as it's not the main fucking focus of the multiplayer, I don't mind. I'm personally not a huge fan of battle royale games. I like them, but I'm not crazy about them. I'm not playing them every fucking day. I'm not even thinking about them most days. I'm sitting over there playing fucking Ni no Kuni 2, watching Lofty fucking Kur, and like just making my guilders, and I'm not thinking for one fucking second about avoiding the goddamn shrinking bubble. It's not in my head. So when I pick up the next Call of Duty or the next Battlefield, and it's like going into multiplayer, and it's just like, if it's just like battle royale and then it's got like deathmatch, I'm gonna get pissed. It just needs to be its own separate mode. Support it, but like I need everything that I would expect from these games before that.
Do you think that if it is true that it's going to be in the same vein as PUBG and Fortnite and being an actual 100 player, or do you think they're going to do more like...
I think Battlefield will absolutely 100% do that if they do it.
Well, Battlefield probably will. I'm talking Call of Duty though. Or do you think they'll do more like, what's that game called that just came out, the Hunted or something like that?
Hunt Showdown.
Yeah, where it's a smaller tight-knit thing.
This is why I want to talk about this, because there's a lot of layers to it. So like Battlefield, if they do it, I think they would do it traditionally. Although the new Battlefield is supposed to be World War II, and I'm still very excited about that. A World War II battle royale is something we don't have, especially on a fucking AAA level that Battlefield is going to be on, right? That's going to be the best looking, best made battle royale game ever. The thing is a very prominent aspect of battle royale games is being dropped in and looking for things and it's all random. So even with your skill level, that's going to be mixed in with the chance of finding certain things. We haven't seen that in an engine in a Battlefield game. So I don't know if they're going to go with that or going to have their own system of like, because even Radical Heights is changing that up with letting you save money and purchase weapons at vendors and stuff like that, which is interesting. So I don't know how Battlefield will go about it, but I do think if they do it, it will be a large map because they fucking already do that. They make huge maps already. 100 people will be no problem for them. And I think it would lend itself. I also think it's going to be interesting that these games are both first-person shooters, so it'll be interesting to see them maybe force first-person shooting in a battle royale game because most of the other games are third-person, all of them so far. Unless you go back to like H1Z1 or Arma 2, DayZ mods and stuff that did the original battle royales. You could get in servers that are first person, some of them third person, but everybody preferred third person, so that's kind of become the standard. But yeah, so I am very curious, but it needs to be its own fucking mode. As for Call of Duty, I don't want them to do a fucking big map. I don't want them to do 100 person. Call of Duty has never, they've dabbled with Ghosts on making bigger maps. They've dabbled in a couple of the games, adding like vehicles. It's not a Call of Duty thing. It starts taking away from it. Call of Duty originally merged tactical shooters with fucking fast first person arena shooting. Yeah. And they melded that together perfectly, and now it's become more of the fast-paced shooter, Advanced Warfare, really fucking moving it into the arena shooter area more so than anything. But so they got to keep it there. I would like to see at the most, if they're going to go crazy with it, like I don't know, maybe like 20 people at the most. I
was thinking 20.
Smaller maps, or maybe like Call of Duty already does. Have all the maps made, all the weapons, blah, 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 blah. And then when you're playing, you pick like deathmatch, team deathmatch, kill confirm, search and destroy. But maybe there'll also be battle royal mode. And it's for every single map in the game. There's a rotation of every map. And every map might have a circle or maybe a grid system like Radical Heights. That's the square system that always moves so that you can still get to the inner squares, but it keeps you moving. And they could just add that to every map. Maybe up the player count. Although I think you can have, 6v6? 8v8? In Call of Duty? I can't think of it right now. But have that, and they can still have battle royale mode, kind of like Dying Light has done, and having 6 people on the map. And having, I think that would be their best bet. Just make it like a specific mode like the rest of them, and not like it's, like I said in the beginning, I don't want to be like the fucking focus.
Yeah.
I want it to be like an option, because there's going to be a lot of times where I'm not going to even want to fucking touch that. So if it's like the main focus, no campaign, and a big focus on Battle Royale, I don't know if I want it. I'm sure it'll be great. I'm sure it'll fucking play amazing. And Treyarch is going to kill it no matter what. They're not going to fuck this up. But it's too much of a change, man. That'd be a lot of stuff to be all of a sudden like, we're not doing what we used to do.
Right.
So... what do you guys think about? Obviously, you guys don't play those games too much, but what would be the best case scenario on how they could handle battle royale mode?
I mean, I think you kind of said it with the
I've said a lot.
Smaller player count, smaller maps, and just kind of keep it still true to the game type. I'm not sure how they'd handle the whole like drop in and find your weapon thing, because then you're just essentially making an arena shooter with no response. That's all you're really doing. So
yeah.
So I don't know.
I mean, they can spawn you in randomly at random spots of the map, but yeah, there's less decision and choice on where you're gonna land, and hope there's gonna be stuff there for you.
Yeah, it's for like, when it comes to Battlefield, they already do large scale. They do 64 players, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I don't think it'd be a huge push for them to bump that to 100. And then they already do aerial stuff with vehicles and whatnot. It'd be really easy for them to just have you parachute in. I mean, they could make the AAA version. I don't think they'd have to really change it much.
Be a quick modification of the game they've already made.
Yeah. But yeah, I think Call of Duty is going to be a tricky one. I think it'll have to be in the same vein as I think you said with Dying Light, where they'll just have to make it kind of like their own thing. So
That's what I hope for. If I see a big ass map for Call of Duty,
it better be good.
yeah, they better like make it so I'm like, wow, I can't believe I even second guessed this.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, I'm gonna be like, you motherfuckers.
Go ahead, Chris.
I play these games so little, it's really hard to have a super strong opinion about how it should go. But if they do remove all single-player campaign modes, the only thing that would probably even make it remotely interesting for me in playing it is that if they added some sort of like mode where you could play against bots as like kind of like a practice mode, I doubt anybody would be wanting to do that because that's a lot of programming to put in that many robots to
I
run
miss
around on a
bot
map
support,
like
man.
that.
I do too.
But that would be like the only way I would be interested in playing a game that doesn't have a single player campaign mode. Is like some way I could just practice because I'm terrible at shooters.
You're not that bad.
You're pretty good. I don't even know really. I haven't really played a whole lot of shooters with you aside from Siege, which you did fine. I don't know. Have we
Never
played?
wished against bots in Siege.
I haven't even played Overwatch with you. I don't think I've ever played Overwatch with you at all. I've barely played
It's more
Overwatch
like
in general.
PvP though.
Yeah.
We tried to play Battlefield, and we should try again at some point.
So fucking good.
Since you own it and probably don't touch it, so
I mean, I beat the story mode.
I didn't even do that.
Yeah, right. As soon as he got down to California, he opened his window. He's like, "Fly a pigeon!" and fucking just threw the Battlefield 1 into the ocean. Be free. Go find your plastic island between us and Hawaii, where the rest of you are.
And as far as like battle royale modes, games in general go, isn't like a lot of like the only thing you get from is like cosmetic versions of like costumes and
Which is
weapons
what
and
I'm
things like that.
saying.
So they'd have to implement some sort of system like that in their battle royale mode to be interesting for me.
Battle Royale modes are one step away from getting me hooked. And that is essentially some kind of reward system that's enticing.
It's just tricky though because the whole challenge of the game is everyone's on an even playing field.
Right.
Exactly. And that's what Radical Heights is trying to do a little bit of, is like you do discover things that can translate over to the next round. They've obviously thought of a way to try and combat that without taking away from the core gameplay. 'Cause you still have to get dropped down, find the vending machine that happens to have the right gun and have the amount of money, or go to the ATM and pull it out, which exacerbates the whole I'm gonna go get a gun and fucking hide and hold off when you're sitting there at the mall shopping.
Yeah.
While people are looking to kill you. So I mean, like, it's an interesting dynamic. And again, it's so crazy to see how quickly the battle royale genre grew, because we were sitting there talking about PUBG for a long time, like, oh, it's growing, it's getting bigger, this is awesome, blah blah blah. And then Fortnite, we're like, wow, this is crazy, this is getting big too. And now I'm just like, and ever since those two got big, it's like, shit, this is spreading too quickly.
Yeah.
It went from like
Wildfire.
those two getting huge to now all at once everybody's like, we're gonna make a mode too. And it's like, okay, everybody fucking calm down. But at the same time, that kind of chaos, I want to see what comes out of it at the end. But I'm worried that, like, fucking Final Fantasy 16 Battle Royale, fucking there's a meme that came out, and
I've
it's
seen
like
a few of them now.
that it was like fucking E3 leaks.
Yeah.
And like every single game was like, it was like The Last of Us or Last of 100, and it was like Yakuza fucking 100.
I'm gonna see if I can find
Another one was like something Battle Royale. I was like, and every single game was a Battle Royale game. And I was like, Jesus Christ, this is my hell.
The flooding of the market is what I'm seeing, is that people are really like trying to push that. And I think what's going to happen is a lot of people are going to get burnt out on Battle Royale mode.
Oh yeah.
And it's just, you got to be really careful, I think. Like, yeah, at the same time, you want to strike while the iron's hot. But at this point, I think it's getting to the point where everybody's, going at it, and it's just gonna be too much.
It's funny because I've always been like a first-person shooter fan, and like they got really popular a long time ago, and they stayed popular, and even throughout like the 2000s up until like even recently, I know like a lot of RPG fans or like fighting game fans who aren't really into shooters are like, oh great, another first-person shooter, and I'm on that team though, so I'm like, oh, this is awesome. This is one of the first times ever that like I'm looking at a genre grow to this insane height, and I'm just like, I get to experience what that's like, because I'm like, I like them, but like I'm not that into them. Like this isn't exciting for me.
Right.
Like it's weird. Like I get to experience what it's like for you guys essentially. Like when Halo 4 was coming out, Halo 3, fucking.
Oh, except for I like Halo.
I know. I'm just saying. Like I always heard people back in the day go like, "Oh, got another shooter," and I'd be like, "What, dude? I love shooters."
I still say that to this day. I got another shooter.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Well, now you got battle royales, and they're growing faster than I've seen any fucking genre grow.
Shooters aren't gonna go away, man. They're
No.
Sure.
First person shooters fucking will never go away. And they better not. I'll kill somebody.
They're what most people play. So.
The only reason I'm not killing right now is that's scary. YouTube's gonna come get me now.
Except for psychology says otherwise, but okay.
Man, where to go?
The thing that's really interesting though to see this genre grow so big is so like we've seen other genres grow and get big.
Oh, yeah.
And seen copycats, but not like this. Right? So like Minecraft came out, had copycats, but it's all like these weird company copycats, and a couple bigger companies kind of dabbled a little bit in some of the ideas, but that was it.
Well, it was the big thing there was they weren't just copying Minecraft. They were kind of taking Minecraft and survival games and trying to like mesh the two.
Yeah, but no big companies are really doing that a whole lot.
True,
Though.
true.
It was all small companies trying to get a piece of that indie
Cube
pie.
World.
Yeah, but like who made Cube World? That one dude.
I don't know. Yeah, that one guy and his wife.
Yeah, so this meme, and if you can save this, I'll put it up on the screen. But it's the last of 100, Yoshi's Murder Island, Halo 6 Combat Royale, Final Fantasy, was that 15?
Royale
Edition, Red Dead Royale, Yakuza 100, Half-Life 100, PUBG 2, Destroy All Humans. It's ridiculous. But anyway, what I was saying about the genre growing in the way it is like when you start getting EA and Activision trying to snatch up the product, you know they're making fucking stupid money.
We've seen the figures.
I know, but I mean, I'm just saying, like, when big companies are making that, because Minecraft made fucking stupid money,
Yeah.
But Activision wasn't like, we got to add that to Call of Duty, make a voxel-based Call of Duty. No, other companies did that. I forgot what that one was called, but
Dragon Quest did one.
yeah. But it was like it's more inspired than anything.
It's definitely more inspired. It is definitely a single player game, even though it's changing now. They are making a multiplayer one. But.
Well, and then like even like Dark Souls got really big there and had some copycats, but like no big huge companies really, aside from like Team Ninja. But I mean, they're not fucking huge.
No, they're mid tier.
Yeah, they're a big company, but like definitely not indie. But like that's not like Ubisoft going like we got to make a fucking Dark Souls game.
Right.
So it's really interesting to see this genre. It's the money, man. Like fucking that money is so fucking stupid high, and the system worked so easily, so quickly that I think everybody's like, why aren't we fucking doing this? Yeah. There's a lot of money right there that doesn't even take much to get.
You know what's really funny too is like, obviously, the 2008 2009 point in all forms of entertainment was rough, and so companies kind of pulled back and just started doing sequels or whatever. And then when people started getting experimental again, I noticed in gaming, competitive games kind of made this huge comeback really rapidly, and a lot of that came from like MOBAs and whatnot. And now almost everyone has like a competitive game that they can throw out there, and it seems like they all can do well. And this is kind of that mix of like people's love for survival games, first-person shooters, and competition. So. It was like the perfect time for it to come out.
Well, it's kind of like an esports thing too, for sure, because people really like to watch, because it shows skill off more than anything, games that don't have progression, essentially.
Well, element of gambling there too. 'Cause
Yeah, for
obviously
sure.
the way it works.
Because then it can throw someone off if they're really good at the game. Like CS:GO is a game like that. All MOBAs are like that. And now Battle Royale games are pretty much like that. So it's also really, I think it also shows a trend of just like the competitive aspect in esports popularity going up, and Twitch.
Yeah.
And people watching people play games. I think that's another reason why this it's like the perfect time for this game type to get popular.
For sure.
Because I mean, like I've said a million times, fucking this is not a new genre. I played fucking mods like this a long time ago, like a lot of people did. It was funny too. I saw another meme earlier today of like it shows a picture of a cooking mama, and on the front shows a frying pan. It shows the guy from PUBG. He's pointing at it. And he's like, "Is that a frying pan?" And he's like, "We're gonna sue you over that." Because there's frying pans and fucking.
But it's not better than Mama.
But there's a mama. So tasty. That's different. That's a different game no one's ever heard of. Yeah. So, what do you hope for in the future of Battle Royale games? Do you want them to just fucking burn and die, or like?
There's obviously a place for them, so no. And I think Chris is probably gonna share the sentiment.
I hate it.
I don't care.
Yeah.
They're gonna do their thing, and people are gonna enjoy them, and awesome.
Gonna fucking care though when the cancer spreads into your games.
I'll just learn to play other games, or do like going back to the 2008-2009 part of the conversation. I'm gonna go back to playing just primarily indie games, because that's where all the creativity will be again.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was definitely, I think, the biggest instance ever of showing that balance can be restored to the force if it gets too fucked up.
yeah. So yeah, I'm not too worried about it. If you enjoy them, play them. Awesome.
Gonna burn yourself out, dog.
Just like superhero movies, there's going to be too many eventually, and only the really good ones are going to make any money. The rest of them are going to be okay.
I haven't even seen like the last fucking 8 of them.
Yeah.
Forgot Justice League ever even came out.
Yeah, I did too. And
Everyone did.
I didn't see Black Panther. I didn't see any of them.
3 people saw it.
I didn't see Black Panther.
Yeah, well, everyone did. It's like the third highest grossing movie ever or some shit. So
Apparently it's the greatest movie ever made.
doubt it.
I don't know. I've been hearing some things.
Titanic was on that list, and I don't think that was one of the greatest movies ever. So
It's a good movie. There's a naked chick and gets drawn.
people who fell off a boat and hit propellers and shit. So
Chris, that's not your favorite part? Naked French, paint me like your French girl?
No.
Weird.
so surprised.
That'd be your favorite. Thoughts on the future of Battle Royales?
They're always going to be around at this point. I think they're going to just go too fast and people are going to get a little burned out. But I'm not really worried about it unless I start crossing into my games like Warframe. Then I know my day of reckoning is at hand.
Warframe's definitely going to get a Battle Royale mode.
I don't think so.
No.
You don't think so?
I
It's
don't think
it's
so.
fucking built for it.
No. Because Battle Royale is based on the characters being neutral, and Warframe is based on each Warframe being unique.
Yeah, you can
Their
suck that
powers,
out.
Same
abilities.
argument that what's his face from Blizzard said about Overwatch. So character based doesn't work.
You can take that out though.
I don't see them doing it. I think they might
I
experiment.
think you guys are scared. I can see in you
What's-
guys' faces.
What's their? And I can't remember the names of the game, but the DE was making or is still making a second game, and I beta tested it, and I personally thought it was garbage. But
Yeah, he secretly beta tested that game. Like 3 weeks later, he's like, "I played it." I was like, "What?" I didn't get to see it.
it was a competitive shooter, so
Yeah, I should have played it.
probably.
My opinion on the future of Battle Royale is obviously it's gonna chill for a little bit. I'm not too worried about it because it's gonna fizzle out real fast because it's too big too quick. I already know people who are getting sick of it. There's so many people who don't play them that are like angry at them, which isn't gonna change anything, but it just shows there is a lot of people who are not playing them as well. Two things I'd like to see though is I'd like to see some kind of fantasy-esque battle royale game. I think it'd be kind of neat to see some emphasis on melee combat and magic. That'd be kind of cool. Or maybe different types of classes you could spawn in as, like fantasy dudes, like an archer type person, but like you don't start with a bow. You have to find something like that. Maybe craft some shit. Mage type character has to find certain things to be able to use certain kinds of magic, and then like some kind of fucking like berserker type dude who can find certain things on the map to create a stick to hit people in the head with.
What was the indie medieval game? Chivalry.
Yeah.
Those guys should make it.
Yeah, something like that.
It'll be chaos.
I just think it'd be kind of cool to get an element of like not just getting shot in the fucking face with a shotgun or a machine gun, but like see like someone shooting fucking fireballs at somebody and someone like hit it like deflecting with a fucking shield or something like that. It'd be kind of cool.
It'll be For Honor.
Yeah. And then I'd also I'm waiting to see a vehicle based one. I think that'd be kind of interesting. Like
Cars, Battle Royale.
Twisted Metal esque, or planes. That'd be kind of cool to have like a fucking.
It'd just be a giant dogfight. Then.
Yeah, pretty much. I want Ace Combat to come out already. That's what I'm saying here. I'm really excited for that game. So other than that, though, until they crack the Da Vinci Code that they're not aiming for, it's just what I would want of some kind of progression that would keep me playing it.
He just wants to play it, and every time he does good, the computer or console puts a syringe out and gives him another hit.
Yep. Yeah, I want drugs. I want Ace Combat, I want drugs. That's the whole point of this episode.
It's a good thing we don't qualify for monetization, because that would...
What bleak reality have I entered? Where am I?
A world where battle royales are the most popular game type and will take over all your games, including Warframe. Yeah, so yeah, I'll dabble. I'll dabble a little bit. I like shooting things. I mean, if there is, one genre that's gonna have I don't know, a type of game I'm not really into, but mechanics I like. At least it's this, because I can play them and go, yeah, it's all right. It's not like card games where I'm like, I'm not touching that.
You
I
know,
won't
be
fuck
an
it.
interesting battle royale. Aliens versus Predator.
I like Aliens.
I think that'd be pretty fun.
How'd it work? You have to have Colonial Marines too in there, just
well,
like
sure.
AVP.
I mean, the Aliens versus Predator games always were just called that, but they had the Colonial Marines as a faction in them. The same concept though, like the aliens would have to go around and like kill wildlife to evolve their character to a different type of alien. The predators and the humans would have to find their equipment.
I mean, I'd play it.
I wouldn't. Sorry.
It'd be fucking crazy hectic though towards the end when the circle's like, small and there's
the aliens all of a sudden Godzilla.
Yeah. That'd be cool though if they could turn into a queen and shit. Chris, I think you're onto something. Although Predator, everybody's just gonna be fucking being dorks and being invisible and I'm gonna stealth everybody and shit.
Gotta find it.
We'll just do Earth Defense Force 100.
That'd be cool. I like Earth Defense Force. Make that.
Maybe
When's
the
that coming out?
jankiest yet most fun battle royale game ever.
Yeah, it's gonna have a motorcycle in the game that doesn't work because Earth Defense Force has that. It feels like the e-brakes pulled at all times and you can't do anything else. Me and Josh got in that fucker and we were just going, just fucking sliding left and right. I was like, what's wrong with this thing? I've never played a video game in my life where the vehicle just doesn't work. And not only does it not work, if it just sat still, I'd be like, wow, okay, this is broken. But it's fucked. It doesn't work correctly. It's frustrating to use it. And it's something you earn. You unlock it. I was like, dude, what kind of
punishment?
kind of fucking hell is this? Oh, it's a great
I
game.
feel
Oh, you
that way
unlock
about
this.
a lot
Oh,
of the
this is...
spider tanks in the game too, though.
They work. You walk forward.
They do, but you get on a corner of a building and all of a sudden your camera's going freaking crazy.
That thing drives like you fucking slammed a metal spike through the center of it into the road, and they're like, go ahead, drive. And you're like, yeah, okay. And the person in the passenger fucking little buggy thing's just staring the whole time like, what the fuck you doing? Like, I'm not doing shit. Like, well, you drive the thing. I'm trying to drive the fucking thing. Why are you up my ass about it? It ruins friendships. And then in the Basilar, which is a stupid helicopter, and that thing flies like shit. That game's amazing, though.
You're selling it really well.
Play it. It's dope. That game's so good that shit can be that bad, and you fucking don't even think about it. You just don't use it. There's mechs and shit in the game. They work fine.
There you go. You just stream that game.
Should. I always forget that game exists, which is sad. Anything else you guys want to say on that?
We should move on.
We are gonna move on. Let us know in the comments. What do you think about battle royale games? What do you think about Call of Duty adding one, Battlefield adding one? What games do you want to add one? How would they implement it? What games do you not want to add them? And if you're thinking that way, you're probably thinking all games. So just say that.
What's that physics fighting game?
Which one?
The one that
Gang Beasts?
Yeah.
That'd be fucking sick.
There's your battle royale game.
That'd be sick. You don't even need weapons. You just drop in and
Just jiggle around.
I can make a third fucking Flex Rex video. Yeah, let me know everything you're thinking about battle royale games. Also, if you do play Call of Duty, what do you think about them taking the campaign out? And yeah, I feel like we're doing Taste Tuesday, a very, very long Taste Tuesday. Last thing I wanted to talk about is if you are on Twitter, cool. If you're not, fucking, good job. You're avoiding the cesspool that is Twitter. But there was a hashtag that was kind of floating around yesterday, I believe. Dave, there was a thing. It happened in the last 24 hours called hashtag GameStruck4. Now, a little bit of information on this. There was a thing called FilmStruck4 that was going around, and this was essentially telling people who create movies or involved in the film industry what defines them and inspires them, what movies, and they had to pick 4. And so they were doing that. And then, of course, since it's Twitter, that got translated over to GameStruck. And so a lot of developers and people involved in the industry, people who make music, all stuff for games, started posting their 4 games that kind of define them as developers and what inspires them. And then, of course, everybody got in on it and started just kind of going, this defines me in whatever way. A lot of people were kind of going like, well, this defines me as a gamer. This defines my history of gaming, all that kind of thing. A lot of them were kind of using it as an excuse to go, these are my 4 favorite games ever.
Some of them were an excuse just to be funny. So
yeah.
I like the one that was literally the same. I can't remember what game it was, but they picked the same game 4 times.
Oh, I saw a lot of those. Yeah.
I also saw one that was literally like Kingdom Hearts 2. They picked something else, and then another Kingdom Hearts. They're like, I wanted to put 4 Kingdom Hearts, so I figured that'd be bad.
Speaking of which, I saw multiple times, and I thought about doing this myself, but then I was like, I overthink everything, so I'm like, I'm gonna do this right. But I thought about for a split second putting Metal Gear Solid 1, 2, 3, and 4, and somebody put 1, 2, 3, and 5, and I was like, am I fucking crazy? What are you doing? So I went in the comments. People were like, what the fuck is your problem? And this guy's like, well, and I'm glad people agreed with me on that. Because 5 is fun, but it's not. It doesn't work storyline-wise. But he actually had a good argument. He was saying that it was more of an event for him, the build-up of Metal Gear Solid 5, the music and the score before the game came out, when he got to play the game, does something to him emotionally, stuff like that. So it was like almost like an event in his life. And I'm like, if we're talking about what defines you as a gamer, if it was an event in your life, I mean, who can take that from you? So sure. That's the kind of the cool thing about this hashtag is it kind of got people kind of just celebrating games and what games do for people. So I decided to partake in it as well, and then you guys also decided to partake in it, which I thought was kind of cool. And once I saw you guys do it, I was like, we should talk about this because it's an interesting thing to think about. So we all made one. Now, like I said before, everybody picks 4 games that defines them. That's pretty much the wording, and like I said, I take that as defining you as a gamer. But I think people take it any way they want, and that's cool. You can do it however you want. But yeah, so we picked 4. Who wants to go first?
I'll go ahead and go, though I know we all share one title.
Yeah.
So I picked, this is going to be a weird one, but I picked Willow for the original Nintendo. We actually played it a long time ago, all 3 of us. So you can go back and check out that episode.
Oh, yeah. That was a fun one.
Willow for me.
I did a lot of fun work on the loading screen. There's a little Warwick Davis, and he's just spinning. That's the guy who played Willow. He also was R2-D2 and Wicket.
He was Wicket, yeah.
Yeah, he was hanging out with fucking what's his face during the pod races too.
Jabba the Hutt.
Was it Jabba? I thought it was Greedo.
It was Greedo. Not Greedo, but the slave owner.
Not Greedo either. Yeah. Whatever, dude with the fucking flappy stubble neck. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, so I picked Willow, and my reason for this one, because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know what the fuck this game is.
It was really good. It's Zelda-like.
It's probably one of the first games I actually like was really exposed to. Our aunt and uncle let us borrow an NES and that game and a couple games. But I remember sitting down playing that game, and I really liked the movie, blah 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 type of thing. But it was kind of very Zelda-esque in the way it played. And I actually would sit down and I'd play it, and I had graph paper and I'd draw the maps out so I wouldn't get lost.
This is a long time ago, kids.
Yeah.
There was a time where you actually had to, holy shit, I got to remember where the fuck I'm going, what I'm doing here.
Well, yeah, if you had to call a 900 number if you wanted tips.
Oh, that was the future, dude. I remember in the late 90s, I was calling about Chameleon Twist, and they're like, kid. I'm like, what? They're like, Chameleon Twist isn't out. I'm like, I'm playing it, so I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Anyway.
So yeah, the whole reason I picked that one is because it was one of the first times I kind of just like fully embraced a game, and like I think that kind of pushed me towards playing games in general. So it was kind of a big game for me.
It's an interesting one too, because I also played it. Obviously, you mentioned me in that story about I didn't remember where the fuck that Nintendo came from. I just remember being a little kid and just blinding myself. I'm blind, in case anybody wants to know that aspect about myself. And I think it's because back in the day, I still do it to this day. The screen's here, I'm just like, and I think it fucked
Has
me
nothing
up.
to do with genetics, with us all having bad eyes.
Yeah, but that's an interesting one, because you obviously could have just picked Zelda, and I think that's a easy go-to one. But like, you're talking about the personal story of playing Willow and how that affected you. It's something you remember, all that stuff like that, and it makes sense because that game is still very memorable to me too. I mean, Zelda's memorable to me in the sense of like, it's Zelda. Everybody played it back then. Everybody loved it. It's fucking Zelda now. But like, Willow's interesting because that one stuck with me as well too. That game creeps me the fuck out in its art style and its music. And there's a lot of work put into that game.
It's also a Capcom game, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good game. So that's a really interesting one.
Yeah. My other picks, I picked for Sega Genesis, I picked Shining Force. It was probably one of the first times I played a tactical RPG.
I love Shining Force.
It also kind of really introduced me to different character classes and their leveling and evolving into other classes and hidden characters and whatnot. And I don't know, it was really weird because I had never played anything like that, and I remember just sitting down and just cracking out on it. Just I don't know how really else to explain that. It was just such a new and cool experience, and all this stuff I just hadn't experienced in games, and ever since I've loved specifically like turn-based strategy style RPGs. Final Fantasy Tactics obviously is a shining example for most people. Even like Tactics Ogre or Advance Wars, Fire Emblem. I love all of them. So, and I think Shining Force was the beginning of all that for me, even though Seth beat it for me while I was sleeping.
I was gonna say, is that the one I beat for you?
Yes.
Because for some reason in my dumb kid head, I was like, "You're like, I'm going to bed." I'm like, "But the game's not over yet." I was like, "We got to beat this." And you're like, "Went to bed." I'm like, "I'm gonna do it for him." Like, that's just like a thing that like you're gonna wake up and be like, "Oh right, you did it." Like,
Yeah.
I remember you woke up and I was like, "It's like, hey dude, I beat it for you." And you're like, "What?" And I'm like, "I beat the game." You're like. It's so funny because like it makes no sense that I just be like, I'm gonna beat this for him.
Yeah.
You fucking need. We got to get this done. Like it's a chore.
Now, obviously, I've mentioned that I'm really, obviously into role-playing games and whatnot. So this will come to no surprise, but Final Fantasy VII was a huge one for me. It was one of the few first times. The story was a huge impact, and actual like character development with the characters and whatnot. Because I'd played a bunch of RPGs in before that. But and I think a lot of people will agree with this, but Final Fantasy VII kind of just like had the sweet spot, had really good characters, story, a lot of gameplay, just brought a lot to the table. Plus, I had very obviously traumatic sequence at the end of the first disc. If anyone doesn't know about that, I don't know why you wouldn't at this point. So yeah, that was a huge one for me. And then
that's the part where Cloud's walking and the wind blows a little too hard and his fucking hair falls off and everybody sees he has alopecia. And fucking he cries and everybody's just looking at him, and then it ends. It's like insert second disc, and it's like, Jesus Christ, how's he gonna get out of that?
Yeah.
That's awkward, especially when you got radical hair like that.
And then
Big sword, no hair. Huh?
my last one is probably gonna be weird for some people as well. Probably not so much for you guys because you guys know me. But Final Fantasy 11 is my fourth pick because
That's the 11th one.
I have dabbled in MMOs a lot before that, but nothing ever like pulled me in. I remember playing. I'm dating myself here. I already did when I mentioned a Nintendo game, but Dark Age Camelot was my first MMO.
God, that was a real fucking. That was the real deal. That was a real MMO.
And it was fun, but it didn't really like. There was no hook. I was playing it because I knew people playing it. Final Fantasy 11, I bought.
Man, we're playing that shit on fucking 56K.
We were with
That shit was janky.
4 megabyte graphics card. Fuck. I had to upgrade to an 8 megabyte to play that game.
I'm getting real shivers right now.
There's some fun info for you guys.
We need to start a new series just called Memory Lane. Just educate some people on the Dark Ages.
But yeah, I played that. I dabbled in like EverQuest, and I tried World of Warcraft when it first came out. I wasn't really into that either. Got into it later.
Yeah, it's interesting how you did not
I
like World of
hated it
Warcraft
at first, yeah.
and then you got into it. Yeah,
But that was another case of playing it because of people.
yeah.
Most MMOs, that's the case. Final Fantasy 11, I jumped in without knowing anyone who was playing it because it was a Final Fantasy, and I was a huge fan. I still am, though I'm not as like dedicated as I once was.
Yeah, one of those blind.
Yeah.
Everything they make is gold.
So I bought it, and I think I stayed up for like 48 hours playing it or some shit. And by the time I was done playing it, which isn't going to be a lot for some people, but for me it's a lot. I put like 100 and some odd days of playtime into the game, about a third of a year.
You even bought one of those motherfucking little internet things for the PS2 to be able to play it on there.
Yeah, so I could take the PS2 to friends' houses
Yeah.
and play with them, and then I also had it on the PC as well. Yeah, and I have nothing but fond memories of that, but that kind of paved my way of basically solidifying that I really do like MMOs a lot. But a lot of them struggle because they're social games.
Yeah.
As for Final Fantasy 11, I actually enjoyed just playing. So
Yeah, I think that's the strength of the Final Fantasy MMOs is they're the only ones, in my opinion. I've not played another MMO that is so story heavy.
Star
They're
Wars.
close. The closest one is Star Wars.
yeah,
But even that one, it still feels like an MMO with cool cutscenes with choices, which is not me talking shit about it. I actually thought that was really kind of neat in that game. But when I was playing Final Fantasy 11, more so 14, especially 14, I was like, I don't even have to really play this with people.
Nope.
Like this is a fucking RPG with MMO combat.
Yep.
Other than that, I mean, it's a single player Final Fantasy game with cinematics and shit.
And good storytelling after the vanilla game. So
Yeah. All right.
That's my 4.
That's your 4.
If you couldn't tell, I like role playing games.
So I mean, it's kind of the essence of defining you.
Yeah.
So it makes sense. Chris.
So I'm gonna go in like chronological order of the game. So the
that's
first
what I did.
one is called Chrysalis, and it was made by SNK for the NES. And I distinctly remember picking this game out as the first game that I was allowed to pick out for the Nintendo. I still have it, and it's a Zelda game. It's a Zelda-esque game. You go Sora and you go around solving puzzles and dungeons and collecting gear to advance further in the story. And I don't think I ever made it past the second zone, but I was maybe like 6-ish when I picked the game out. But it's the first experience I remember playing video games, so it's like really solidified it for me. And then
I've still
second
never
one.
played that.
I haven't either.
Also, real quick, Josh shit all over the case art for that game. He was like, that thing you guys posted on Twitter. Chris posted that Chrysalis game, wherever. He's like, that game's art is shit. I was like,
The 80s?
yeah, it's old school. He was very upset about it. I was like,
They don't have multi-million-dollar fucking marketing teams then.
well, the style's different, art techniques are different. People are probably actually drawing it on physical things, and
Right.
it was just funny. I brought that up. Like I had nothing to even add to that. He just told me, I was like, I haven't seen it, dude.
What do you want me to
Like,
say?
I don't
Yeah.
fucking. Chris, that game's art is shit on the cover.
It's an early 80s game. What do you want from me?
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
I remember picking it out at Toys R Us and like looking at the
That's
wall.
where you bought
of
games
Nintendo
before.
games,
That's where we
That
bought
and
Sega
Sears.
games.
flipping
Sears,
the
dog.
panels.
We had some games from Sears back in the day.
Yeah. Boy, this is turning into nostalgia fest. I remember going into Toys R Us and the games weren't even on the shelf. They were the little tags in the sleeves or whatever, and you had to take the tags up front and to get the games. Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking one up you. Okay, so back in the day, sorry, we'll continue, but this shit is one of the. Okay, so I don't have a lot of the, like, a lot of people will like go to something and they just feel good and they feel nostalgia or whatever.
Yeah.
Or they're just like their go-to place. I don't really have those anywhere except for retro game stores. When I walk in a retro game store, I fucking lose myself because I'm just remembering all this shit because it impacted me as like when I was a kid. I loved video games. I still love video games. But like nothing brings that back as much as if I go into a place and see old ass games, old ass Sega Genesis cartridges, Nintendo cartridges, Atari cartridges, fucking Super Nintendo, all that shit. Games that I've seen a million times, games I even fucking own. Just seeing them in the wild, I'm like, it's like going back when these games were like available and shit. But back in the day, there was a very common thing like Tiger Electronics and a bunch of other people made these weird, janky plastic portable games that were just like these weird pictures that would move and buttons.
Game
you
and Watch
press.
Gallery.
And beyond that, I mean, I had a fucking Virtua Fighter one and all this stuff.
I
And
remember that.
they were horrible. And then later they had this like one eye like projector thing. We had it. I forgot what it was called. It's made by Tiger Electronics. But those were so big back then. If you didn't have a Game Boy, because these things were like $20 a pop, so pretty much like buying a game, well, cheaper than a game. They had at Toys R Us like fucking 4 aisles of those things of all these different fucking games on those little plastic things.
Yeah.
It was so weird.
That's funny.
Yeah. Anyway, let's get out of the museum.
Sorry, Chris.
And Chris, what's your next one?
So the next one chronologically is on everybody's list. It's Final Fantasy VII.
Oh, spoiler alert.
I already spoiled it when I said we shared one.
Well, it could have been fucking Willow.
No.
We all love Willow.
This is what really started my obsession with JRPG games. And I still have somewhere tucked away my original Final Fantasy VII case and books and everything. But this is where I started getting really like angsty, teenagery. Like that started to brood up. So my favorite character was Vincent.
I want to be Vincent.
There's a lot of online accounts that have similar names to this character.
You should stop right there.
Yeah, let's not making mistakes here.
So that really started my obsession with Square and their Final Fantasy games, which led right into Final Fantasy Tactics. And this was the first time that I played a game where I actually had to really think about what I was doing. And I will say that the first time I ever into this game, I couldn't beat the first level because I couldn't figure out what I was doing. I was pressing the buttons. I was like, why is this screen shaking and moving and rotating? What is happening? But it became to a point of like, I bought the remaster of this game for the PSP, and I logged 400 hours into that game because I was mastering every class for every character, unlocking all the hidden characters, getting all of their classes maxed, all their special weapons, things like that. And I really started my obsession with these tactic-style games, which I've played a few of them, but there's just not so many.
Mm-hmm.
But I really, really loved that game. And then my last one is, I think it's also a re-release, and it's Monster Hunter Freedom United, and it was on the PSP. And it was to the point where the servers for online gameplay were no longer available. But this is what started my Monster Hunter career. And since then, I've played almost every single one of them available to me. Like, just the endless grinding. It's just something that I want to do.
It's happened to me twice. I bought Monster Hunter for PS2.
Yep.
Server's already down when I got it, though. And then that also happened to Phantasy Star Online for GameCube. So.
Yep.
Yeah, a very heavy RPG-esque list for me.
Oh, no, servers were up because you played and got hacked weapons for Phantasy Star Online.
Oh yeah, I play with people. I got some fucking dope ass chainsaws.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, that place is the fucking Wild West when I was playing. Met all sorts of weirdos. Yeah, it was a good list. Surprisingly, my list is pretty diverse, although not console wise. Okay, so I'm not gonna go in chronological order because they're all kind of around the same time.
Yes, they are.
And to put kind of a thing on this, like I said, a lot of people I feel like we're picking like their favorite games or whatever, which is fine, whatever. And I think you guys all like have really good reasons on why those games are the ones you picked, because there's so many games out there that you can just be like, fucking 4, what am I gonna pick? I went through the same thing. I was thinking like, back on Sega Genesis, those games were where like I was like loving video games. Like Sonic the Hedgehog has to be on my list, right? I loved Sonic the Hedgehog, loved Sonic 2, loved Sonic 3. Those games were like amazing. I should throw Zelda on there. Fucking Mario 3, fucking Super Mario, like Mario 64, all these games. I'm like, man, there's so many early games that I should be throwing on my list. But then I was like, but where did gaming fucking like change in the sense of like where it impacted me the most, where like not where I started loving it, but where like I was like fucking like obsessed with it. And I think a really good example, it's funny, all my stuff is between 1997 and 1999. And in my opinion, this is the area where gaming changed from being toys for kids, and take that as you will. I don't mean that they are, but that was the intention. There's obviously games out there that had deeper storylines and all kind of stuff. But like around the PlayStation era and the 64 era is when like the big dogs came out, like we're making like entertainment that in the future will be the biggest selling fucking medium on the planet, which it is. And so during that time, I played a game called Final Fantasy VII. I watched you beat it. I was really young at the time not really young, but I was younger than you. I watched you beat the whole thing. Played it plenty of times, but like the first time I ever experienced it was watching you play it. And that game blew my fucking mind. Prior to that, of course, there's RPGs. They'll got stories, deep stories, whatever. But the way it's presented, the whole system that became normal in Squaresoft games at the time, of like getting to that cinematic and seeing this like this amazing cinematic back in the day, was almost like a reward. As you got further in the game. There's like this excitement of like, oh shit, when serious stuff happens, we're gonna see it. We're not just gonna read about it. The character design, everything about it was just like, it was at the time just so fucking like top notch AAA, like games were never like this before. All the different things you could go do, the stakes that were important, the loss of certain characters. I mean, even the beginning when like all of Avalanche is like getting killed or whatever, that was fucking insane. I was like,
replayed that part.
As you're playing that part and everybody's just like on the ground like dying and shit, I was just like, what the fuck is happening, dude? Well, like this, it's not just like a scene where someone goes and just blows up. Like they're like, oh god, like, and you're just like, what the fuck is this? Like, they're like, I've been playing with these dudes for like hours now. This is happening. And as a kid, that translated. As an adult, it's like if I think back on any games that like really impacted me, Final Fantasy VII will always come up, like top 3, always pop up, and I don't think anything will ever do that. Closest thing in modern times that does that for me is games like The Last of Us. It's very rare. Most of those games were all back in like fucking 97, 98, 99. So yeah, Final Fantasy VII has to be on my list. It's genre defining, it's game defining, and it's fucking defining for me as a gamer, because I was like, this is what games are now. On the same note, Metal Gear Solid, easy one to pick. That was the first one I thought of, and that was just out of my love for it. But then when I thought about it, it's funny. My favorite series of all time is Metal Gear Solid. All of them. If I could, I'd just pick them all in there. But I had to, really think about all the games that define me as a gamer. But when I first played Metal Gear Solid when I was a kid, I was like, what is this shit? And I stopped playing it. It's like, fuck this game. This game's taking too long. People are talking and shit. I don't like this.
How dare they?
There's people on Codex going like, Colonel, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, dude, get to it, man. Let me kill some shit. And the whole stealth thing was like confusing. I was like, I don't just kill them. I'd go up and punch people and they'd be on the ground. I stopped playing it. I came back later, not that far later, but like I came back. I was like, I'm going to try this game again. And like I sat there and just like actually like paid attention or whatever. And I was like, this is like a fucking movie. And back then that was like not common.
Not at all.
And then like played a little further, got the mechanics down. Back then it was like a new thing. And just the genius that is we all love him now, but Hideo Kojima, this was like his magnum opus. I mean, this is like one of the greatest things he ever made. And just getting that all the way back in the fucking late 90s is insane. It was so ahead of its time. It was like seeing a glimpse into the future of what fucking video games would be. It's a game you can go back now and still play. And that game just kind of elevated my expectation and standards of what I expect from storytelling in a game, character development in a game, just writing, gameplay, the amount of content and like added things. Like there's so many small things that are in that game. Like it's an amazing game. Obviously, everyone's played it. So yeah, that just kind of set me on my path of seeking higher art in games, I guess. Next one is 007, GoldenEye 007. This was a very hard one for me because I'm a big shooter fan. And I went through this whole thing of like, what shooter am I going to pick? I have to pick a fucking shooter. I love shooters. Which one am I going to pick? Well, the first one I thought of, oddly enough, was like Doom or Quake. And I was like, well, Doom is everybody's like genre defining game, but Quake had an impact on me. Quake was like one of the first games I was like, the ability to aim and jump and dodge and switch weapons in a fast sense started bringing like a skill aspect that I'd never experienced before, really. I mean, in Doom and fucking Wolfenstein, you walk forward, you shoot things, you get behind the wall and they shoot back. But in this, I was like jumping off shit, shooting, trying not to get hit while hitting other things. There was a precision aspect to it that brought out a competitive part of me that I didn't know I had, because when I was a kid, I was kind of a shy kid. So the idea of me being like, I'm gonna win was kind of new to me. It's like going through puberty in a video game. And then Quake 3 came out, and I fucking love Quake 3. It's so good. But then I also thought about Halo. Halo was kind of like the first, in my opinion, like perfect, starting the standard first-person shooter for competitive players. I remember skipping school and getting LAN parties with multiple TVs and multiple consoles, and we would just fucking play it all day, and no one could beat me because you fucking suck. But yeah, those are good times. But then I think back to why I even got there in the first place, and that's GoldenEye. I remember first playing GoldenEye and just being hooked. It was the first time FPS played well on a console. They somehow managed to do it with that fucking octopus controller that was built for three-handed people. And it got to that point where like fucking you're playing with your friends, 4-player split screen, fucking some assholes playing Odd Job every once in a while. But there was that competitive edge to it. There was the fun factor, the wealth of fucking weapons and characters, the excitement of different maps, and without that game, I don't think I'd be as prepared for like the future of competitive shooters as I was. So without that game, I would have never gotten as into Halo and Halo 2, and then obviously the games now. So it was a huge eye opener, and probably I think one of my first video game like addictions. I think
it was for a lot of people.
I remember when that game first came out, it was sold the fuck out. I couldn't get a copy, so I had grandma just like fucking rent it for like months.
I did that with Phantasy Star 4.
Like we just wouldn't take it. The rental place in our area where we lived, they had one copy, and I was just renting it forever. And then finally one Christmas, or that Christmas, I got it, and which was great because my grandma, I'm sure, was getting annoyed with fucking re-renting the same game over and over again. But I had to play it. I couldn't stop. So, I mean, that's the only game I've done that with. So, and then my last one is the most impactful almost in all the games that I played. Oddly enough, is Silent Hill. And the reason Silent Hill is so impactful to me is first off, it's an amazing game, but I think it's one of the most unique and amazing atmospheric and tonally made games out there. It has a character and like atmosphere all of its own. There's no other games like Silent Hill. Silent Hill somehow just made a survival horror game, but in such a cool way that like no one could ever replicate it. Nobody can make a game like it. It's scary, it's intriguing, it's mysterious, it's interesting. The characters are interesting. The psychology and the writing is fucking top notch. The people who made it were like the perfect team ever, and they got disbanded for some fucking reason. They made 4 amazing games of the same caliber each time. Silent Hill 2 is fucking amazing. They were so ambitious that they made like an open town on PlayStation that you could like explore. Obviously the fog's there, so you don't have to render as much, but that was part of like the charm of it. It was really fucking creepy and mysterious. But another reason why it's defining for me is because the visual style and the musical style has influenced me outside of video games. It has influenced me in the way I film things, how I edit things, and a lot of the music I make. So I mean, like it's had an effect on my life. It's really weird. Silent Hill has affected me artistically, unlike anything else, really. And that's from the guys who made Silent Hill, and then Akira Yamaoka, who made the soundtrack to all Silent Hills. That motherfucker is a genius.
One of the few game soundtracks I can listen to outside of playing the game. So
yeah, Far
One of
Cry
the game
5's got a
songs
good
I can play
soundtrack.
from memory.
Huh?
One of the songs from the game I can play by memory.
Yeah. Yeah, I can play a couple on guitar, a little bit. But yeah, I've said this before a million times, but the soundtrack of Silent Hill to me is 50% of the character of the game, and that's not taken away from the other thing. That's just how impactful it is. Without that music, it loses a lot of its feng shui, the way it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, Silent Hill is definitely not just like a game defining or gamer defining thing for me, but just in general, like artistically defining for me. It did a lot. I remember watching the trailer for Silent Hill 3 and Silent Hill 4 and just being blown away with how it was made. The editing and the music and it's not a traditional trailer. It's like this fucking bleak, obscure, macabre like representation of the atmosphere of Silent Hill. It tells you nothing about the story.
Oh yeah, I actually, it's funny because I remember I was working, I guess I could say I was working for GameStop at the time, and that was when they used to do their promotional videos and actual VHSs and TVs in the windows. So when you walked by, it was a TV playing their promotional video. And I remember the Silent Hill, I think it's Silent Hill 4 one, where it had like the giant like crawling baby things where their heads were constantly shaking and shit.
Love it.
It was creepy. I couldn't believe we were just playing that for everyone to watch as they were walking by the store. So, but yeah, definitely. Even as someone who can't play those games, I think Silent Hill is a very impactful game in the survival horror genre and in gaming in general.
Dude, Silent Hill 2 is always number 1 on every list of best survival horror games of all times, and it should be.
Well, I gotta put it out there. 2 of your games are Konami games.
Yeah, imagine why I fucking hate them.
You heard the other slap in the face, right? Sorry, changing subject really fast, but they're making a game,
Yeah, mobile.
fucking Castlevania, on your cell phone.
People are really upset about that, and I'm only upset about it because Konami's going to bastardize
they're
it.
gonna fuck
But Platinum Games also has a mobile game coming out. I'm interested in that one.
Sure, I would like
World
to
of Demons.
I
or whatever
do.
the fuck.
I like the idea of supporting Platinum Games, though.
Yeah.
I won't even touch the fucking Castlevania game.
Yeah.
That's how much Konami has like just kind of pissed off. And I'm not even like, those aren't games for me, but I still have that appreciation for them, and I still have that anger towards it's not even necessarily even just the way they treated their franchise, it's the way they treated their fan base. And it's just, I don't know. Anyways.
Konami's like the ultimate fucking villain in anything because like
they fucked up bad.
They got to the point where you love them, and then they're Griffith from fucking Berserk.
And then they did terrible things to you and your loved one.
They did. They did. They did. I'm guts. Hey, full circle is great. I'm talking about shit I love. But yeah, those are my games. Like I said, I had to really think about this a lot. I'm sure you guys did as well. But like, I was like, Halo, fucking Metal Gear Solid. I'm gonna throw a couple of games. I was gonna throw Armored Core in there for a while because I love Armored Core. I remember when I was a kid, it just blew my fucking mind. But like I said, the whole vetting process of like, what was the most impactful ones? What were those benchmarks? I mean, they all happened in fucking 97 to 99 in that area. I was just like, and there were so many games like this coming out at that time. Like that was like the fucking golden era of like just video games in general.
You guys want to, this is a little spontaneous, I'm sorry, but you guys want to do like, I don't know, 2 honorable mentions real quick?
You guys go and I'll think about it.
Okay. For me, it's actually pretty easy. Baldur's Gate, the PC game, isometric Dungeons and Dragons. I don't even know like how to explain its impact on me so much as like I kind of got into the Dungeons and Dragons like books, specifically Drizzt Do'Urden books, and I was really into them. I didn't really play a lot of actual pen and paper. And then I had a guy I went to high school with, and he was like, hey, I got this game, blah, blah, blah. You should come over and try it sometime. So I went over, and I tried Baldur's Gate on PC, and I remember just falling in love with it. Like, you got to make your character. You got all these cool characters with you that you got to choose the paths they were taking as they were leveling up, and you got to make, conversation choices, which obviously is like such a staple in gaming now. And I'm sure a lot of people, when they think of this type of game, they think of like Fallout 1 and 2. For me, it's Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale.
Some people didn't play Fallout 1 and 2 though. It's weird. Everybody played Fallout 3 and beyond.
Yeah. But that was huge.
I have
for
Josh
me.
to thank about Fallout 1 and 2.
And I think we've had this conversation, I think it was with Almexi actually, about how it's such a niche game type now. That if Fallout would have taken that route, it probably wouldn't have succeeded.
Yeah. Although now we live in a time where there's games like that now, like Wasteland 2 and what's the one that has the second one out now? Divinity, which I want to play. The second one's supposed to be really good. And then was that Pillars of Eternity? That's another one kind of like
so,
that.
Yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, I just I learned a lot about like that was kind of my push into Western RPGs. So that's a big one for me. And then my other one is Phantasy Star as a series, but I'm going to specifically say, even though I should say Phantasy Star 4, I already picked an RPG like that. Phantasy Star Online was a big one because that was kind of the beginning of lobby-based online games.
Oh, shit.
So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason why I love Warframe. I love fucking Monster Hunter. I love games like Vindictus.
Yeah.
That's my
lobby,
bread and butter.
I put so many hours into Phantasy Star Online over the years. I've actually been tempted to reinstall it recently.
I'd play it right fucking now.
It's amazing. And the formula is so ridiculously simple. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But you get in a group with 4 people. I'm sure you all know how Monster Hunter works. It's the same thing. You go, you pick a mission, you do it, and you get loot. I mean,
yep. It's so fucking fun.
And it just works. It still works, obviously.
They
Monster Hunter is successful as hell.
They should release that on mobile and just have 4-player co-op.
Phantasy Star Online 2 is playable on mobile in Japan.
Fuck them.
So
that's never come out here.
It isn't. Come on, Sega.
They're gonna
You're bringing Shenmue, but you can't bring Phantasy Star. Come on.
Yeah, that one was weird. That's just like, yeah, we're gonna bring that over, and I was like, cool. I'm excited for that. But fucking like a long time ago, they're like, PSO 2's coming out over there,
and then
like
radio silence.
Years later, I checked their website. It's like coming soon. I'm like,
you said that already. Yeah,
man, it's not.
So yeah, those are my 2 honorable mentions because those are really big games in my life. So.
Okay, I got to say mine before I lose them. Oh shit. Okay, so honorable mention, and I just thought of this one, but I wouldn't have thought of it earlier. But Elder Scrolls Morrowind. Morrowind was fucking a revolution, man. That was the first time I ever lived in a world that wasn't here. Never experienced anything like that. Prior to that, obviously, there was games like that before with the other Elder Scrolls, but not to that degree. I still have stories that I'll tell if I'm talking about games like that to this day that have to do with Morrowind. I'll make references to Morrowind. I think tonally, Morrowind is one of the most interesting fantasy worlds that isn't like high fantasy. It's just like, medieval fantasy with, different types of, races. But yeah, I got a big love for Morrowind. It's the best Elder Scrolls game in my opinion. No fucking contest, not even close. And yeah, I don't know how many hours I put in that game. I mean, oh God, yeah, I love that game to death. And yeah, and that was Xbox, I think, and PC that I was playing that on back and forth. I remember how many discs that was, like 4 fucking discs on PC, which is ridiculous.
Those are dark ages, man.
Oh yeah. And then my other one is like every other game ever, because I'm just like struggling to fucking pick one. But I mean, you already picked PSO, so I'm not gonna say that because I was gonna say, fuck it. PSU. I'm gonna go with PSU. PSO is awesome. PSU, I spent a lot of time in. If there's like an MMO that you lived in, Final Fantasy 11 or whatever, people who were like, wow, that was PSU for me. Phantasy Star Universe, which was the cousin of Phantasy Star Online. It was PS2 era, so the graphics were like that. It had a better combat system. More actiony though, is less nuanced with the timing button thing. Kind of carried on the legacy of PSO in a fresher way, and I played the fuck out of that game. I have very, very fond memories of playing that game with Josh. Josh would play it on PS2, I played it on my PC, and we would just spend hours and hours and hours. And the thing that I miss about games like that is the social aspect. So the game itself is really fun. I could play it, blah, 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 blah. But just running into all these random people and having all these weird adventures and fucking evicting people out of the houses and shit, because I did that because I'm an asshole. I'll just walk to people's houses and fucking yell at them, and they'd be like, "Oh, get out of my house." I'm like, "You get the fuck out of your house," and then they'd leave, and I'm a dickhead for that. But I was young. But yeah, I got so many stories from PSU. It's stupid. So that's like my big like MMO live-in game like that. But yeah, that game was. I'm still looking for that game. I still want another game like that. I'm chasing after that first high that I got from PSU. I don't know if I'll ever get it. So
yeah, I mean, that's Final Fantasy 11 for me. As much as I love Final Fantasy 14, I think it's a much better playing game. The experience isn't there for me.
I was about to say, yeah, it's like I said, it's that first high, man. That first time they nail it and you fucking experience that. You try and get it again, and the game can be close or whatever, but like, it's just not it. Yeah, exactly. It's weird. It's like a drug.
You get enough time to think of an honorable mention or two?
Yep, I got two. Well, I did really enjoy Silent Hill, like you did. I couldn't play them. I was just I play them in the dark with headphones just to get that full immersion, and I get too into it. But the honorable mentions I have are it's cliche, but World of Warcraft really changed the way I played games. It became more of the social aspect of the game. I even was planning things outside of the game with my friends to do in-game. It became almost an obsession, and I was playing it back on dial-up. I remember my mom yelling at me, "Get off the damn internet! I'm trying to make a phone call."
Jesus Christ!
I can't. I'm in the middle of a quest, but it really changed a lot of things for me as far as gaming and the social aspect of things go. And my second one is Mortal Kombat, but in particular Mortal Kombat 3, because that really ignited like the fighting genre for me. And that particular style, like Tekken and things like that, they're fun. Soul Calibur is great, things like that, but they're too technical for my liking. Personally, I kind of like that button mashy aspect of Mortal Kombat.
Not anymore.
And 3 really kicked it off for me with the roster of characters and the background of how they're all interconnected. And then the movie came out, and it was just like this onslaught of horrible game movie-ness that I really enjoyed.
That was the time to be a fan of Mortal Kombat, man. I remember fucking there's so much Mortal Kombat, like movies and fucking games coming out.
It was the naughty game to play though.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then Grand Theft Auto took it.
All the kids were like, "Mommy, I want to play the naughty game."
I had all of them. I had the original for the Super Nintendo.
I
I
think I had
had
the first two.
2, 3, and then I skipped all the ones that are apparently really bad.
Yeah.
God, every time you keep saying things, I start thinking of other games. I'm like, "Oh, that's another one. That's another one." We should just like fucking do a segment where I pick one of the old legendary games and let's fucking talk about it. Because
Start
like,
ranting.
yeah, because like you said, Grand Theft Auto.
Welcome
Grand Theft
to
Auto,
Grandpa Cast, where we talk about how old we are.
Grand Theft Auto 3 was a goddamn. And I said it earlier. It was a goddamn revolution. I remember waiting for that game
Not even
and
a
just.
fan, and it was.
I was just like, oh my god, I can't believe this game is gonna be fucking real. They're gonna release a game like that, and then like it got close, and then there was a demo unit in GameStop, and I was like, I have to play it, I have to try it, like I gotta know. And I played, I was like, it's better than I thought it was gonna be. I couldn't wait, and then I got my copy, and I was just like, I couldn't stop playing it. That's the story. I still been chasing that high forever. We gotta stop though, because I thought of other things too, and I was just like,
And you still gotta edit.
yeah, Soul Calibur too.
Yeah.
Soul Calibur is the best fighting game ever made, and not only just because of the mechanics, but the music and the visuals and the fucking larger than life fucking.
Soul
movie.
still burns.
Yeah, it still burns to me.
They ain't got movies.
They ain't got what?
They ain't got no movies.
Good. Although I did an episode where I talked about how they could do that.
Yeah, you did.
So, yeah.
Even Street Fighter's got a movie.
Yeah, fucking horrible, shitty
I
one.
love it. I know it's
It's
an
so
awful
bad.
movie,
It's so
but
bad.
it is so fun. Gonna go.
The movie's
kick
offensive.
Bison's ass.
I'm gonna kick Bison's ass so hard. Where the fuck? I don't know what accent I'm doing, but he sounds ridiculous. He's fucking.
And poor fucking. Oh god, I forgot his name.
Well, Julia,
Yeah. Oh, what a way to go after that.
how'd he go?
That was his last movie, wasn't it?
His last
Oh,
movie.
I thought you were talking about the way he died. I was like, what, did he get electrocuted?
No, but just imagine being that guy and like everyone like
He's
having
the high up coming off like Adam's Family and things.
That movie
like
didn't deserve his fucking prowess. Dude.
And
That
then
guy
he-
put his all in
and then
everything.
he was fucking in that movie, which, like I said, I love, but that's not a good
I
movie.
was just Gomez Adams dressed like M. Bison.
With that fucking smile after the time.
Yeah,
Anyways,
intense.
yeah, no, it's great. It's awful and great at the same time.
We should go back at some point and watch some of those old video game movies and then fucking grade them.
Okay,
I have all the Mortal Kombat movies.
I'm pretty sure.
I have the internet.
I own
I will-
Street Fighter and the Super Mario movie.
I will do things that makes them not get
Mario
money.
movie. Oh, God.
That movie's a fucking disaster, and the world would be better without it. That movie's a fucking travesty. It's a goddamn insult to humanity. We've been evolving for fucking so long as a species, and that piece of shit got fucking created. That set us back like a couple million years. Oh god. De-evolution. Where the fuck they say. It's stupid. Smooth head and John Leguizamo and Bob Hoskins were just drunk every single day filming that.
People got hurt left
Bob
and right,
Hoskins
too.
broke his fucking hand in like a van door because he was drunk and they slammed it on there and busted the fucker. The two directors were like a husband and wife who had never even played the fucking games.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. Like you should watch some shit on
That
it.
movie should not exist.
It's-
It shouldn't even like been able to come out. At
That
point.
movie, if it was made by some other country, would have been a declaration of war on everybody who ever enjoyed that fucking game. It's fucked. That movie. I mean, I remember when I was a kid, I'd fucking try and find a way to just like pretend to like it. I was like, I don't get why this isn't like Mario, but it's Mario, so I gotta like it. And as I got older, I'm like, what the fuck is this? How could you do this to me? You ruined my childhood. The whole thing. Everything I've said this whole episode was good. All fucking wasted with that nuke that went off.
Oh.
Dennis Hopper? How the fuck they get him?
Oh,
The fucking T-Rex? Is that supposed to be Yoshi?
Yeah.
What do they call Daisy? John Lang was a Daisy. Anyway, Daisy. That's a fun game. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about? I think it's a good place to end it.
I think so.
Fuck you, whoever made that movie. If you watch this, look at me. I'm telling you right now. You can go fuck yourself. That's the one subscriber I don't need. Okay?
It's 2 people.
You think both of them are alive?
Fucking
After the Russian mafia saw that, you think they let both of them live? I think they had to make a fucking point. They're the ones in hiding. Anyway, that's going to do it for this episode of Tasty Cast, episode 60. Let us know in the comments, what is your Game Struck for? Tell us all 4 of them. Go into detail as much as you want, if you want to.
Here or Discord.
Or Discord, yeah, join us there. Let us know what you thought. Let us know what you thought of our picks. Let us know what you thought of our fucking going down memory lane, the museum of gaming. And yeah, that's going to do it. So make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy this episode. Make sure to check our other episodes. Check us out on Tumblr, Twitter, and Facebook at Tasty Loot Gaming. Check out the streams at Tasty Senpai, all one word, on Twitch. Hit the notification button so you know when I go live. Make sure to check out Chris at Tasty_fruit. Also hit the notification button so you know when he goes live. And join the Discord. But until the next episode, which will be next Tuesday, stay tuned on Twitch because I will be streaming God of War and probably Monster Hunter. But until then, my name's Seth.
I'm Chevy.
And I'm Chris.
And have a good weekend, guys. Take it easy.